So hi,
Hi,
what is your name?
Varun.
What do you do?
I'm a journalism student from Delhi University.
Can you apply journalism to veganism?
Yeah, we can use print media or electronic media to publish articles or publish news regarding animal rights. Like we can have debates about animal rights. For example, in the past we have had this march about animal liberation march last year, and a lot of newspaper covered it. So yeah, we can use this as a platform to spread veganism. Even like in a couple of years ago, there was an article published in this newspaper called The Hindu, and in which it covered the dairy industry and how it harms cows, about which like a lot of people are not really aware about the dairy industry. So it highlighted that. So yes, I think like journalism should be used to spread awareness about veganism.
So why did you become vegan?
Okay, so prior to being vegan, I was a vegetarian for like 10 years. So I went vegetarian for ethical reasons. So like I was able to relate to the suffering of chickens and goats and all that. But the thing was, I wasn't really like being a vegetarian in India. First of all, it means you do not consume flesh or eggs, but you still consume dairy. So I came across the term vegan, I think a couple of years ago when I became vegan. So I was trying to figure out that why don't vegans consume dairy products. So I just did some research. I came across this video on YouTube. It was published by PETA India, and it actually did an investigation on an Indian dairy industry. So it actually showed from what cows go through from her birth to her death, and how on dairy farms she's impregnated over and over again and have her baby stolen over and over again, and how she goes through that emotional trauma, and eventually when her milk production declines, she's sent to slaughter. So I realized that consuming milk means you're consuming the beef industry. Like both go hand in hand. You cannot just consume dairy products and say that you are against beef production, because that's not how it works. So when I realized it, I couldn't just continue supporting the dairy industry, and I became vegan. Then I did some kind of more research. I came across this documentary called Earthlings. I recommend you to watch it. So Earthlings also shows how animals are used in pet food and clothing and used for all these purposes, and it shows in detail how these animals are oppressed in all these industries. So it's a must-watch documentary for everyone that is watching. So I think these two things was what inspired me to go vegan.
What's it like being vegan in India?
Being vegan is easy when you focus on the victims. So yeah, it's easy. So I think that is what veganism is about. It's about focusing on the suffering of others. So once you connect with it, it's not like you cannot just go on and off and on and off. So once you go vegan, the only thing you regret is not going vegan sooner. So like we vegans, usually when there's flesh, eggs or dairy products, we don't see that food. We see them as the pain, the suffering, the torture and the death the animal must have gone through to become that product. So going vegan is easy, and maybe it may be a little difficult for people who are who are not very committed to this cause, but they still want to do their bit for it. So I think even in that case, it's not really difficult. Like you can check out a lot of recipes on the internet, and like anything can be veganized. Like from cakes, pizzas, puddings, and anything. I think can be veganized, and that's it. Like it depends, like what kind of how much committed you are to the cause. But for us ethical vegans, like I don't think we face any such difficulty. And another difficulty that we may face is like interacting with people and realizing that they don't really care about animals, and even though no matter how much you try to convince them, trying to make them understand that hey, these living breathing animals deserve to live too, so they don't care. So that's a difficult part. So but related to food or buying clothing, I don't think it's really that difficult. That's it.
Your family and friends react when you told them you're going vegan?
Okay, so my dad, he wasn't receptive to it. Like he was really annoyed because he's been fed all these myths about, you know, how consuming animal products is essential for our body, because that's the only thing that he was concerned about. So he was really like, hey, you need all these nutrients, you will not get it from plants. And I was like, no, we can get it from plants as well. So I, instead of getting bothered with it, I tried to educate him. I explained him, like told him like, hey, this is the diet, like you can be healthy on this diet, you reduce your consumption of like you eliminate your cholesterol, your trans fatty acids from your diet, and it's really helpful. So after a while he became like, he was okay with it, he got convinced, and now he actually gave up his the flesh, he gave up meat, and now he's working to give up eggs and dairy. So actually it worked. So he got convinced. And as far as friends are concerned, some are receptive to it, like and some are not. So even though the ones that are receptive to it, they're like, hey, I support you, but that's not what I want. I want you to support the animals because they need the support. Like I'm not the one that are oppressed based on my species. So yeah, like there are some who actually are considering giving up the animal products. So yeah, it's like a mixed kind of reaction from family and friends, but that didn't really affect me or something. I stuck with my ethics, and that's what helped me stay vegan.
What do you think is the best ways to promote veganism?
Okay, so first of all, I think we need to stay positive, because we're gonna get a lot of different kind of people when we promote veganism. There will be people who will be receptive, and there will be people who will just don't give a fuck. So instead of, you know, spending our time in convincing those people who just do not care, rather you should choose to spend your time in those who are actually receptive, who actually are willing to change, who are actually willing to learn. So first of all, that should be the thing, and then you should inspire them. Rather spend your time on those who are willing to listen, who are willing to change themselves. So I think that's because even I've had some experience like that, because I've had such experience in the past. Like there are people, even though they are hardcore flesh eaters, if you talk to them, a lot of them are actually willing to listen, and they actually, you know, they listen, they agree with you, and they actually tryna, in future when they get convinced, they do their own research and they actually make change in their lifestyle. And the second tip is to make sure that you promote veganism in a way that does not marginalize, you know, other social groups, because it is also important, because while promoting one cause, we need to make sure that there are other causes as well, and we should always deliver our message that does not, you know, marginalize them or alienates them, because that's very important for veganism. When we have people, when our activism is inclusive to other people, other social groups, it's not only good for us, it's also good for animals, because animals need more voices to be more voices to talk about them, to fight for them. So that's really important. Third is, do not lose hope. You'll find all kind of people. You'll find like every day millions of animals get killed, and losing hope means you're just ignoring their suffering. Like, so we should be strong, even if I completely understand that it's not really easy to stay hopeful in a world that does not consider animal as property, but we need to be hopeful for the animals, because if we stay silent, who's going to speak for them? Because they need somebody to speak for them, somebody to fight for them, somebody to get them liberated. And fourth step is to become an activist. Activism could be anything, like going to marches, going to outreach, and doing speeches, giving speeches at schools and colleges. It could be anything. So, and like always make sure you have a sort of a leaflet with you. Like I make sure I always carry a leaflet, so when you find time, when you feel like somebody's interested, just carry them the leaflet and have a conversation with them, so they can actually go home and check the website, research, and actually make the connection.
Do you have any tips for people that want to go vegan?
First of all, I would like people to be open-minded to new ideas, like be receptive when somebody trying to educate you about something, because we are never too old to learn anything, so we should keep learning. So first of all, be open-minded. Second, I recommend you to watch this documentary called Earthlings. It's a really good one. It shows how we've been oppressing animals, marginalizing animals, and have been killing them for food, clothing, research. Earthling is a very good documentary. It shows how we have been oppressing animals, and like how we've been using animals for different purposes, like like for pet purposes, for food, for clothing, for entertainment, and for research. So it shows in detail about these industries. And so like a lot of people, like even when they get convinced about veganism, they want to know that what kind of food they eat, like whether they're meeting all their nutritional requirements. So I recommend you to check, first of all, check this website veganrd.com, theveganrd.com, and another one is veganhealth.org. So both of these are two excellent websites about vegan nutrition. So you'll get everything in them. Like they have talked about every nutrient in detail. We need to understand that first of all, we do not need animal products to survive or thrive, because millions of vegans are live example. Even I'm this live example. So we do not need animal products to survive or thrive. So we need to understand that, hey, we do not need to kill animals. So when you still knowing the fact that you can live healthy without harming animals and still choosing to harm animals, I think you should really consider your choices. So that's it, and stay positive even when you are like trying to educate yourself. Be open-minded, and like we should fight for animals the way we want others to fight for us if we were oppressed. So that's it.
Yeah.